Hey everyone, this is Gary Kay. As you know, we've been showing all sorts of new products today on New Tech Launch Day of Launch Week. And look, with COVID-19, the world's going to change, and I'm not sure there's a company in our industry that's done a better shift towards how they can help our industry than Aurora Multimedia CEO Paul Harris. How are you doing, Paul?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me again.
A 3 months ago, we did a video launch of a product called Tari, which was originally a thermo scanning product. So you could walk up to it, sort of like a small digital sign, take a temperature and allow them to pass or not pass. You've done a significant amount of improvements to the product since then. It's quite a bit of a different product than it was when we first looked at it 2 months ago. Take us through a quick tour of what Tari is and sort of how you see the AV integrator fitting into this. And then we're going to go to a video with a deep dive into it. So first, congratulations on the product.
Yeah, thank you so much. So when we first talked, we were talking about the ability to not just do the temperature sensing, but we're talking about the integration of our ReAX technology, spelled ReAX. And that's our control system automation technology that's non-platform specific. And it's designed to work off of JavaScript and HTML code. So it's all standards-based that works in conjunction with tools that we also supply for free to allow you to create the code with any type of interface. So what makes this temperature tablet very different than anything on the market is its ability to integrate and to control the data that it takes in. So as compared to the first time we discussed this, which I invite everybody to look at those demonstrations, what we've done now is we're now given the ability to do customized interfaces, face mask detection, QR code detection, email sending of snapshots of data, database interfacing into either way, pushing or pulling from it, full automation of, we can even automate a building, look at multiple panels. I mean, the capabilities now are just about unlimited at whatever we want to allow to happen at this point. And so one of the things that we're going to be presenting is that data coming up shortly. So as those of you who watched the first video saw, I would walk to it and we would come up and it would take the temperature. The interface has changed dramatically, and now you have the ability to do what the operator sees versus what the user sees. And you could have multiple different interfaces serving up from this product. So I'm gonna let Chris take it over, and Chris did a nice video presentation of going over all the specifics and explaining it. I think the only thing missing from that explanation was the QR because that just literally came online, but enjoy the segment.
What I'm demonstrating here is what the end user might see when they walk up to an Aurora temperature check panel. I'm off the screen right now because I don't want it to read my temperature quite yet. But if we look at this interface, it's very simple. Not much to it, but keep in mind that this is fully customizable. So the text that you see, the instructions, the colors, the layout, the positioning of the video, also what information you want to show on the screen is all fully customizable within our Core Studio program. One of the things about this is if this is in a public location, there may be a line of people waiting to get in. You may not want to share the thermal image or the temperature data with other people that might be able to see it. So with a simple interface like this, you can still maintain a user's privacy, things like that. So what I'm going to do is slide into the screen here, and you'll see almost instantly it shows that reads my temperature and gives me a passing temperature. Next, it switches over to this questionnaire. It's going to ask a couple questions. So within our TTS panels, we do have some gesture recognition built in. So for instance, if we look at the instructions here, we can raise my right hand to answer yes, my left hand to answer no. So question 1, in the past 14 days, have you had a fever? I have not, so I'm going to answer no to this question. You'll see there's a little bit of feedback there. You have to hold your hand there for just a moment, and that allows you to, if you're answering the wrong thing, putting up the wrong hand by accident, you can change that before it registers. Have I traveled? No, I haven't. I'm going to answer no to that. And finally, have I been in contact with anyone? No, I have not. And you'll see once I've answered the questions, I've passed the temperature check, we get a success, and I can enter the facility now. Here you can see an interface that's more customized for an administrator, such as a receptionist or security personnel that may be monitoring this from a remote location. Just like the user interface, this is completely customizable. You can show any of this information and even more if you choose to on this screen. So here we have the thermal image we see up here in the upper left, and on the right side here we have some indicators for face detection, a thermometer, temperature, hand detection. Of course, we do have our gesture detection working here as well, one or more hands. And if we go to our setup, now this is the operator setup, just some quick settings, not like the initial setup wizard for IP settings, but let's say we want to require a face mask. Well, now you see, even though I'm passing for temperature, I am failing because I don't have a face mask on. Also, if we go in here and kind of lower the maximum temperature below what my body temperature is, you'll see that now I'm failing and a secondary temperature check is required. So you have the ability to customize this just like the user interface using our Core Studio software. This is ReAX Core Studio. This is where we created the interfaces and where you would modify yours. Core Studio is Aurora's free control system programming software for our ReAX control engine. Within Core Studio, there's basically two views. The interface view, which we're looking at here. This is the graphical user interface, which would show up on your touch panel. And the code view. The code view is a simple way to drag blocks of code in, parse information, set up complex macros, save information and variables on the server side. Looking at the interface, we have a lot of different elements we can include here. User interface elements, shapes, images, and a variety of other objects. For instance, we have text here. This can be static or it can be dynamic based on the value of a variable. For the average user, you can do everything you need to do by dragging these elements in both on the code side and the interface side and programming some basic logic. For advanced users, we also have an interface where you can type your own JavaScript. This allows you to customize and take things to the next level with your interface. I'd like to go over some of the other things that really differentiate Aurora's temperature check tablets from others on the market. Keep in mind, ReAX is a full-blown control system. You could use it to control your AV equipment, your lighting, access control, HVAC systems, really anything that has an open API, whether that's on the network, serial ports, relays, IRs, and so forth. We have a full line of control systems to complement the temperature check tablets that you can add on that will talk to them over the network, allowing you to have expansion or physical ports to control these devices. ReAX is a web-based control system, meaning that your exports from Core Studio are simply HTML pages that can be loaded on any device with a web browser. One of the many features that you can do right now with Core Studio is some simple digital signage. So for instance, if I move out of the screen here, rather than going to the scanning page, you can see that it's gone to a digital signage display. Now this is a very simple static image with a active clock overlaid on it, but this is not limited to just a static display. You could show videos, you could show a slideshow, really anything that you can put on a web page you could put here. You could pull in a news ticker from an external source. This is one of the things that really sets Aurora's products apart. Again, the flexibility and configurability to make this tablet do what you need it to do.
So that video was good, Paul. So that explains sort of all the features and functions. And what you've obviously done here is, when we first talked, you were providing a thermo tablet, basically a way to take someone's temperature and make a go or no go into a company. What you just showed me is a substantial product that solves a lot of post-COVID issues, whether or not the business is open, how safe is it, who gets to come in, who doesn't get to come in, are the right people coming that are supposed to be there. You're giving an AV integrator a way to really provide an interesting solution to their clients who are going to be nervous this post-COVID environment. But you mentioned the QR code feature that wasn't demonstrated in that video. What's the difference in the QR code versus the way you showed it worked this way?
Yeah, so the QR code would work where in some cases you want the employee or person to fill out a form, maybe from a web page or an application. And they fill out the form, did you do this, you come in contact, whatever it may be. Generally it's a QR code, you hold it up within 18 inches of the panel, it sees the QR code, and because it can now talk between different databases and systems, it then says, is this you? Then you can use the gesture control, yes it is. And then it allows you to associate that data to it and then pass you through. Doesn't mean it's going to store the data, that's the choice of how you code it, but it does make the association so this way you know what to do next with this particular person and simplifies the process ahead of time so that way you don't have to do it while you're there. Now in the presentation, Chris did show an example of those questions that you can keep raising a hand for yes or no, as well. And that could be done without the QR code. But sometimes QR code just gives a lot more flexibility into the identification.
Well, especially if you don't want someone to know who you are, but you want the system to know who you are, because you're trying to, you still want that confidentiality, but you want the system to be able to recognize you and allow you to pay, but pass. But the most important thing here is you're providing a solution for AV integrators to help, not just in the AV space, but help bring together this post-COVID world with the AV community and make it all one big backbone, which is based on the ReAX control platform.
Well, the best part about it is the fact that, and this is one of the reasons why we have 3 sizes like the 10-inch, the 15, and the 21, is because actually the larger panels really give you the best bang for the buck because of what you could do even when there is not a crisis at that moment in time. It does become a full digital signage capable unit for ad space or just hello, welcome to the company, go upstairs.
Yeah, so it's still a digital signage network, and you're adding on the temperature and ID capabilities onto it.
Exactly. So it's still a full-blown control system. So from a value standpoint, you're getting a lot for the money for what it is that it's really truly an AV integrator solution where it's bringing all these systems together and not just being no better than a temperature thing that you hold up to somebody's head. This goes a whole nother step beyond that and really does make a difference. And that's one of the reasons why we like to tell people our product's really worth the wait.
Yeah, and it is the difference between holding up a thermometer. I mean, I've gotten my haircut. They do that now when I go in to get my haircut. They hold a thermometer up to my head to make sure I don't have a temperature. But this is a lot more sophisticated, and this is also giving an AV integrator the opportunity to be a solutions provider. This is all under the Tari brand product line of Aurora. You go to auroramultimedia.com, auroramultimedia.com. The product is Tari, Tauri. Paul, always a pleasure. Thanks for launching it here on New Tech Launch Day during launch week. I appreciate it, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.